Going hat forward, hat backwards. These are the new 533 hats. It's a cold Sunday here in East Tennessee, and we have a lot of ready to flies that need to go out. We had a delay of Tiny Trainer HD canopies, which means we got a backlog of back orders, but they came in on Friday, and we promised all our customers as soon as they came in that we would get them out. Of course, that aligned with a lot of our builders taking vacation time and things like that. So, as business owners, Armando and I, of course, had to pick up the slack a little bit. We're here in the shop on a Sunday getting these ready to go. He's kind of finishing up all of the assembly, flashing, activating, all of that kind of stuff, and I'm gonna be doing the test flying. So wanted to kind of show you what any 533 ready to fly drone goes through as far as test flying. I think that's a misconception a lot of people have is, oh, it's just being hovered, or like that's how you would test fly a drone. And I personally don't think that's the way to go. If I were to be buying a ready to fly drone, I would want something that is proven that it can fly fast, proven that it can, you know, be put through its paces a little bit. And I want to show you that we're not just hovering these things, we're flying them around pretty hardcore to make sure that they can take the abuse. Of course, not crashing or anything, but putting them through the abuse of full throttle punches, cornering, dives, all that kind of stuff, and to make sure there's no problems or any of the things like that. And also for you to get a better idea of what kind of processes go into a 533 ready to fly being purchased. I'm in charge of doing the test flying today, so I have a lot of drones to fly, bind, rebind, all that kind of stuff. So it'll be a bit of a tedious day, but I get to fly drones for fun. So it's not the end of the world. I'm super excited and wanted to bring you guys along with me. So I'm gonna go in, probably do a lot of time lapse in this, and then some DVR here and there, hopefully, to show you what it's like to fly like a bunch of Tiny Trainer HDs in one day. All right, let's go inside and get going. I try and do the test flights in batches of 5, so these are all HD0 video system, all Tiny Trainer HDs. They have a variety of receivers, whether it's Ghost, Crossfire, Express LRS, but that's pretty easy by just swapping the module and the radio. And then I can just keep the same goggles and crank out flights on each one. Since we do advertise this as a hybrid powertrain, I'm going to be doing a full flight on 3-cell and 1 full flight on 4-cell to make sure that the tune applies nicely to both and they get good flight performance with both. I need to go set up that gate outside so that I have some fun stuff to fly through. I do 1 flight with each voltage, really make sure that it flies nicely in both, make sure the OSD works, make sure you can change channels properly, make sure the LEDs work, all of those little checks, and we have like a full checklist, standard operating procedure, if you will, to make sure everything's good. Do 2 really not crazy hard aggressive flights or anything, but 2 nice flights to make sure things are working properly, and then you just rinse and repeat to make sure everybody gets the same service, same quality, and that is perfection in a really nice flying quad. So I'm gonna set up a time lapse and you can see me go through that whole thing for the first batch, and then we'll just kind of rinse and repeat throughout the day. Probably be dark by the time we're actually done, but that's okay, and you guys are worth it. So let's go.
Saying how to vlog. Oh, which camera? There's so many cameras. In the south now, so you know what you need to buy tonight, right? Milk and eggs.
Yeah, it's gonna
and
snow.
Bread.
And bread.
Pretty much milk and bread.
I have 4-wheel drive.
Doesn't matter.
You're in the south.
You've got to panic buy.
It's an
Tonight
apocalypse.
I guarantee if you go tonight, there'll be no milk. There'll be like hardly any bread left.
And you record line of sight, me flying around, just not within an, or I guess yeah, that works too. Go for it. Should be on. Yep.
That's how you know it's good.
Had Mondo there as my camera guy for a second, and that was on 3S. The tune that, quite honestly, he made is incredible, how it can adapt from 3S to 4S so nicely. And on 3S, the drone's awesome. It's like if you've ever flown Freedom Spec or a quad that's a little bit slower and just super smooth, not a ton of power, but just flies nice, 3S is awesome. But now I'm gonna show you what 4S looks like, because it's insane. I genuinely think it can be competitive at a 5-inch race. I'm just gonna have to show you. I'm gonna try and set up a nice little view from right here so I can get an idea, but just listen to the sound. I'm trying to find an SD card to get in my goggles so you have actual DVR, but just wait and see what this thing's like on 4S. And I love, it flies absurdly good on 4S. And again, that's a 4S 650 for those who are curious. But you can go back and forth between the two depending on what you're feeling that day, how it suits the track, or how it just suits the environment you're flying in. This one's gonna be on 4S and is the second flight of this quad going out. Another thing to keep in mind that I think is pretty impressive, just keep in mind how fast the quad is flying, and then note that there are no prop screws on this setup. So, of course, when you're in a race, maybe you want to put prop screws on a course just to make sure you finish, or if you're freestyling in like a risky area. But for everyday flying, prop screws suck. LEDs look super cool. So, if you have those 1.5mm props and you're just flying around racing for fun, then being able to just pop off props and pop on new ones is awesome, and I am blown away that these props stay on here, honestly. Freaking shreds. Those 5 are done, which makes up batch number 1. Going to box those up and take them over to shipping, where those guys will make them pretty, heat wrap them, get all the extra goodies and stuff that are needed in there. I'm gonna go on to batch number 2, which will be mostly DJI drones. So I know I'll have DVR video from that I can get you. Never ended up finding an SD card yet, but I know there's one somewhere in the 533 shop. I was just trying to get these out pretty quick because it is getting dark, and DJI 03 stuff needs to be done before it's too dark because it doesn't handle low light that great. So I'm gonna find something. I'll make sure at the very least to get some amount of DVR so you can get an idea what the HD0 looks like through the goggles. But going on to batch number 2 for DJI, but I will probably wrap up the video somewhere after that because you guys will probably get the point after 2 batches.
I love this one.
Okay, my battery's not even close to dead, but my fingers are just too cold. As a test pilot, we get to give a lot of feedback to the builders, Armando and the rest of the guys who are actually assembling these, which then translates to you guys, the customers, who are the ones actually flying it. So test pilots are always told to, if they find any annoyances or hard pain points or anything like that, to pass them down to the assembly team. And that's something we strive towards every single time, or every single time we put out a new drone, is refining. So with that being said, every time you buy a 533 drone, you should look for those little improvements. Look for those little tiny niceties, those little tiny details, because that's what we genuinely try and pay attention to. And that's what we feel like puts us over the edge. You're getting top level pilots testing the drones, trying to make those drones better. And then they're passing down that knowledge that they have from years and years of experience down to the builders who also have experience, and then making them better and better and better, which then can pass down a better product to the end user. So it's something we're really excited about, putting systems in place to do this, to continue to improve our product, to continue to improve our systems, and you guys are the one who benefits. So thanks so much for your support. Thanks for watching. I'm gonna bind this up in this one with some DJI O3 flight footage of cruising around and making this one get out to, I believe this one is for Joel Turner. So I like this person's last name, so we're gonna get extra good test flying. No, I'm just kidding. But thanks so much to Joel for their support, and you'll get to see your drone fly around here. So I'll see you guys. Thanks for watching. Sorry my camera battery died. Hope the audio is not too bad. Sorry, I got sidetracked there. But long story short, I'll see you guys later. Thanks for watching.